नमस्कार, मेरा नाम प्रदीप जोधानी है। संस्कृति संस्कार के आज के इस एपिसोड में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। मैं हमारे प्यारे दयाल एन हरजानी, जिनको हम दादू जैन बोलते हैं, उनको मैं स्क्रीन पे इनवाइट करूंगा। हरिओम अंकल।
Hariom, all the viewers, Jai Jhulelal. Uh, Welcome once again to all of you. I would like to mention that today we are very fortunate to have a very great Mahatma with us as our guest of honor. His name is Dr. Pingale, and he has been appointed as the national guide of the Hindu Jana Jagrati Samiti. His professional journey started as a ear and throat and nose specialist. But in 1996, he started his spiritual practice under the guidance of his guru, Paratpar Guru Dr. Jayant Balaji Athawale. As his yearning for God realization grew substantially and he was able to surrender to God in all his humility, Dr. Pingale was declared as a saint status by his Gurudev. He is been the author of several books: Importance of Kumbh Mela, Ganga Mahatmya, Spiritual Practice of the Guru Grace, and Protection of the River Ganga. He is a staunch supporter of Hindu Dharma and advocates Dharma and its teachings to permeate all the segments of our culture and our lives. Let us now welcome Dr. Guruji Pingale. Guruji,
हरिओम
namaskaram.
नमस्कार टू ऑल। हाँ नमस्कार, कैसे हैं आप
Namaskar.
सभी? आप
Welcome to our Sanskriti Sanskars show and Shat Shat Pranam to you.
सत्य सत्य
I
प्रणाम,
would
आप
like
सभी को
to
प्रणाम।
I would like to welcome you with our traditional doha, Kabir doha, which we offer to all the guests of honor. And this is from the book Kabir Speaks, and it's specially one for you, and which says, "Bina prem धीरज नहीं, बिना प्रेम धीरज नहीं, बिरह बिना बैराग, सदगुरु बिना न छूट गए, मन मनसा की दाग." The English translation would be, without love, mind is bereft of patience. Without Lord's yearn, none claims dispassion. But without Sadguru's, none can erase the mind stained in passion. So this covers the English translation, which is quite apparent, and I don't think it needs further elaboration. I think there's something wrong now.
इट्स ओके,
Uh,
आई कैन हियर यू।
Pradeep, I cannot
यस,
see anybody.
आई एम एबल टू सी यू।
Okay,
या
we get technical faults again. Now, Dr. Pengale,
यस
before we start the question and answer session, I would like to request you to elaborate on the word Hindu. What is the definition of Hindu as per your idea? And then we can go into the definition of Hindutva and Hindu Rashtra from that spiritual angle that you define Hindu, which will become our premise of today's discussion. So we all have our interpretation of word Hindu, but we would like to have your interpretation and your idea first.
श्योरली श्योरली। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, आई pay my obeisance to his holy feet of my Gurudev. I will remember Lord Krishna, Prabhu Ramchandra, and The important topic of today is Hindutva and Hindu Rashtra. So, what is Hindu? How we can define Hindu? Uh, I want to tell you first thing that to understand the terminology of our Sanatan Hindu scriptures, we should know either Sanskrit language or we should know Devanagari language, and we should know the grammar, and also we should know the implied meaning of those terms. This is the first prerequisite to understand the term Hindu. Secondly, many people say that the word Hindu is an exonym and it's a non-native name and given by somebody else. But this is a big misconception because uh, according to Sanskrit language and the grammar, according to Panini, so and her, they are uttered in same way with same meaning in Sanskrit. So the Sindhu, the holy river Sindhu, or the civilization of the Sindhu, the term Sindhu is equivalent to term Hindu. And that's why the term Hindu is that ancient and that old when these our Vedas were manifested. So it's not a term of 2-3 thousand years back and given by somebody else. First thing I want to clear it. So Sindhu and Hindu, they are equivalent terms, and Sindhu Sanskriti is Hindu Sanskriti, and Sindhu civilization is Hindu civilization. That is the first thing. If to define the word Hindu in specific way, so it's an endonym. It is equivalent to Vedic Dharma. It is equivalent to Arya Dharma. It is equivalent to Manav Dharma. This means human Dharma. Hinana Gunana Dusheti it Hindu. The holy scripture of Meru Tantra, it defines Hinduism as Hinana Gunana Dusheti it Hindu. Hinam Dusheti Hindu. The meaning of this statement is that Hina Guna. Hin means we are with three qualities, three gunas, Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Sattva is higher and pure good, and Raja and Tama, they are Hin means they are devil or evil gunas. So if you got any impurity in your mind, if you got any personality defect in you, if you are having egoistic or attitude or ego in you, so the person who is trying to cleansing his mind and chitta, who is trying to get devoid of personality defect and ego, and try to uplift spiritually into sattva guna and from sattva to moksha, the every person, irrespective of his path of his sadhana, spiritual practice, he can be labeled as term as Hindu. So basically, Hindu term is very much broad and not only with humans but inclusive of mankind, spiritually and socially and worldly upliftment of a person and a society, the effort taken by that person, the every person is Hindu here. So this is a broader spectrum of our Hindu term. And if you know this term, so there is no question of any religion, any mazhab to label it as a uh, enemy or opposite side of this definition. That's why we say that Hindu Rashtra is for upliftment and beneficial to not only humans but also beneficial to all mankind. So this is the basic definition of Hindu which I want to tell everybody. And this is spiritual also, this is socio-spiritual also, this is socio-political also.
Then, can I recap the word Hindu from what we have read? That the word Hindu is a misappropriation of the word Sindhu. When the Persians came in the year around 600 BC, they could not pronounce sir. So all the people who were living east of the river Sindhu were termed as Hindu. They could not pronounce sir. So Hindu, and then when the Greeks came, they could not pronounce her. So it became Hindu. And that's how the word Indus Valley civilization, Indus. And then finally, when the British came, they called Indus to India. This is the
Yeah.
the sequence that we have known, and the word Hinduism was coined only during the British rule, during
Yeah.
the presence of 1608 and 1757. The Britishers put all the adherents of non what you call Abrahamic religions into the bracket of Hinduism. So that's the birth of Hinduism. Do you agree with this theory or this
No,
information?
basically, Hinduism, the term itself is wrong. It explains the limitation of English language, and it explains the limitation of so-called Western scholars and intellectuals. Those who don't know Sanskrit in pure form, they don't know Devanagari, and they want to force their ism on Hindus. Because if you go years back, it's okay, but in even in today, Assam is a state where neither Mughal or nor Britishers invaded much and ruled there. And in Assam, they called Asur as Ahur. So is
Hmm.
uttered as her. And it's common practice there. It's not because of unable to pronounce the. Even uh, Saptaha is called as Hapta. So we can say that even in Assam also on the basis of Sanskrit language, because Assam kingdom was not conquered by any other Mughal or British kingdom.
Hmm.
So purity of that language and pronunciation today also we can locate in Assam. So it was not question of uttering, because in Farsi they uttered the word sir. So how they can say that they were unable to utter word sir, and they are not told that we are Fari. They told that we are
Hmm.
Farsi. So it was not part of pronunciation. It was part of big conspiracy by British. They want to divide Indian diaspora into supporting Hindu and against Hindu. Secondly, the term religion, their perspective of religion and our perspective of dharma, they are diagonally opposite, and they don't understand what is dharma. So they are trying to equate Hindu dharma with their religion concept. That's why they have started to saying that it's Hinduism and they can't utter so they have to. Question is that why people from this bank, Eastern Bank, has not called the other side as a Hindu. If
Hmm.
from the other side they are
Hmm.
calling people from Eastern side as a Hindu, in the
Hmm.
same way, if it was related with only reverse Hindu, why not people from this side they uttered them as a Hindu? So it was not like that. Our identity as a Hindu was indigenous. It was our own identity. It was a synonym of Vedic Dharma, Arya Dharma, and that's why our Sindhu Sukta, Rig Ved, even if you go to reference of scriptures of Shankaracharya and some videos of Shankaracharya of Puri Shankaracharya Swami Nishalananda, he has given a long list of references about the word and term Hindu. So, if anybody from the globe they want to understand Hindu Dharma, they will have to take reference of our religious people. They they are trying to interpret on their own, and they are trying to create some conspiracy, and they want to defame Hindu. That's why we should be very clear with our perspective of Hindu Dharma. and we should
So in
stick to
that
our
case,
perspective.
my question to you will be, because I have not seen any reference to the word Hindu as being the citizens of Bharat. We have known India as Bharatiya. We were called, that's why the word Mahabharat came. There was no such thing as Maha-Hindu war, or it was Mahabharat war. So, as far as the general, most of us are concerned, we believe that the word Hindu is not an ancient word. It is just a recently concocted word. Recently means say 2000 BC maybe. So, what do you have to say to that? Because I cannot
Actually,
find any reference of the word
yeah,
Hindu
yeah.
anywhere.
Actually, we have published, our Sanstha has published one book, and we have clearly cited the all references regarding the
Hmm.
word Hindu. And
Hmm.
prior to us, some very scholarly persons of Vedic Dharma, they have also cited these references. First thing. Secondly, if we think about only 2000 years, so 4000 years back, when the these Parsis people, they have uttered the word Hindu for we people. But what was the meaning of word Hindu at that time? They say it's a respectable, it's a beautiful, it's uh, civilized person. They have it's a qualitative term which came in this Parsi people's holy scriptures.
You mean from
Even
the Zoroastrian?
yeah, Zoroastrians. And even this when people from Arab country, they called Al Hind.
Hmm.
So Al is a very respectable adjective which they use, and they
Hmm.
are using respectable adjective and calling as Al Hind. This
Hmm.
means Hind was not a defaming word they have uttered. They have uttered it with respect. So if you go in Arabic scriptures, they say that they are Al Hind. So it's a respectable term. So no way it was a defaming term given from our enemy to make shame us. It was not like that. So in next time when you visit, I can give you that book with all references,
Hmm.
and even if I got some link of Shankaracharya's video, I can send you. But it is clear that Hindu is word not a latest word. It is ignorance. The false history has been taught to Indians. The basic our knowledge and history, the real history was masked, overshadowed, and they have teach us that part of only history they want to teach us. So we are victim of that conspiracy, and we have to get above that conspiracy so that we can have a pride to utter the word Hindu. I think, sir.
But then, how come the word uh, we are considered as Bharatiya at the same time? And
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that case, how old is the word Hindu according to you?
Hindu word is according to us is from Vedas, and word Bharat is not only attached with the king Bharat, but the basic spiritual meaning is Bharat. Bha means tej. Rat यानी you are indulged in that. मग्न हुआ है तो तेज की उपासना में जो मग्न हुआ है ऐसा जो व्यक्ति जहां जहां रहता है वो भारत है. So basically it is a term given to the nation of a seeker. If a seeker who is doing spiritual practice may be on the any corner of the globe, he
Hmm.
is in Bharat because Bha mane tej, Rat mane Magna. So Bharat has spiritual perspective. Bharat has historical perspective related with King Bharat. So we have to understand all the dimension of that term Bharat. And when I was child, I was just a baby without name. And if I am at this age now, I am labeled as a grandfather.
Hmm.
This doesn't mean that when I was child, my name was not a grandfather. because according to time and situation, now it is my recognition as a grandfather. So Hindu Dharma, when the Dharma has declined 75%, and in Satya Yuga, four pada of Dharma was there, that means 100% Dharma, Treta, three pada, 75, Dwapar, two pada, 50%, and in Kali Yuga, only 25%, one pada of Dharma is active. So अधर्म is dominated in this time. So हीना न गुणा न दूषयति. हमारे अंदर की हीन वृत्ति, हमारे अंदर की बुरी वृत्ति, हमारी बुराई, क्योंकि बुराई डोमिनेंस एरा. So purification is basic sadhana in this era. That's why the Hindu term has been labeled in Kali Yuga, because the only important thing you have to rectify and cleanse your mind and uplift yourself spiritually by Sattva Guna. That's why this era is predominantly the Hindu term has been popularized.
So you believe that the word Hindu is in our scriptures? It is mentioned in the scriptures, in the Vedic scriptures, or no?
Yeah, because Shankaracharya says that so and her, they have
Hmm.
equal meaning, and Sindhu and Hindu, they are not different. So Sindhu means Hindu only. And that's why there is no dispute in calling Sindhu as a Hindu, and it's pretty old with Vedas.
Hmm.
For that we have to go through the grammar of Sanskrit, and the problem is solved.
So according to you, Bharat, how far it extended? Have you any idea on that? What was the geographical scope or territory of Bharat? Was there any
Bha-
fixed one, or there was no fixed territory?
Actually, Bharat has no boundary like a state.
Hmm.
Bharat is a spiritual concept first thing. But in Treta Yuga, the Rama Rajya is described as Sapta Samudra Valayankita Rajya is Rama Rajya. Means the land covered by the seven great oceans is Rama Rajya land. This means that that much extent was Bharat at that time in Treta Yuga. So it's clearly given in Ramayana. So with time now, that is narrowing their boundaries physically, but still spiritually, there is no boundary, because spiritual practice is not only done on this bhuloka. The Sanatan or Hindu Dharma perspective, this says that your sadhana is going on in Mahajana Tapa Satya in all lokas, and even asuras in neither region they practice in negative way, but we consider all these 14 layers of universe uh, as a Bharat for that, not only for this land of this globe only. So if you raise with some spiritual perspective, we have to speak about all the 14 regions.
14 region,
Yeah,
meaning
means Bhu Bhuva Swarga Mahajana Tapasatya. These are the seven higher loks, and Patal. They are lower, negative sapta lokas, and all sapta lower and sapta upper lokas contribute to this universe, Brahmanda. So Bharat is expanded with all these region. Seven upper higher जो lokas है, Mahajana Tapasatya, that is also covered in Bharat. The term
so.
Bharat.
According to you, Bharat is not restricted to land; it is also restricted to the
Yeah, yeah,
astral. Is that what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
trying?
yeah. Yeah, neither region. It is also extended to the neither regions also.
I see. Okay, so basically, we have some notion of your vision or your interpretation of the word Hindu. So we can now go on to Hindutva and Hindu Rashtra. So I
Surely.
have listed a definition of Hindutva and Hindu Rashtra, and I
Yeah,
will read out to you that, and you can
surely.
correct us if it's right or wrong.
Ah,
Hindutva, to me personally, is a movement to revive, sustain Sanatan Dharma spiritually, socially, and politically. This is the shortest form of Hindutva. This is our definition. And Hindu Rashtra in the making uh, simply means a nation based on Hindu ideologies with corresponding constitution mandates to yet to be established. So this is my interpretation and my definition. What would you have to say on that?
yeah, indirectly, what your term seems to be in a positive way and contributory. But basically, Bharat, Bharatiyatva, Hindu, Hindutva. So, sugar and sweetness,
Hmm.
salt and saltness. So, they are inseparable qualities. If you are a Hindu, then how you will be labeled as a Hindu? If we want to label some crystals in front of you as a sugar, you have to taste it and you say it's sweet. This means this is sugar. So sweetness and sugar, they are non-separable. So Hindutva means a person who is Hindu and who is practicing all principles of Hindu Dharma means he is practicing Hindutva. So this is basic according to spiritual perspective. Now, what your term that uh, to protect, because dharma you have to abide it in your life. Dharma is achar mulak. Dharma you have to practice in your life. So while practicing in your life, you have got your subjective hurdles for practicing. You have got social hurdles in practicing. You have got some national hurdles in practicing, and you have got international hurdles in practicing your dharma. So, when you want to practice Hindu Dharma in your day to day life, you have to overcome the hurdles which are coming in your life, maybe in person, maybe in social, maybe in national, maybe in international level. And at that level, what you have defined, I just can't frame your definition, but social or political. So, in every way, unless they are positive for you, they are helpful for you, you can't abide your dharma. And that's why to protect your dharma, what you need is to make them in favor of yourself. So, why we need Hindu Rashtra? Because when Hindu Dharma will be protected by constitution, the ruler, the bureaucrat, the judiciary, primarily when they will try to protect the values, the culture, the history, the tradition, and the principles, philosophy of Hindu Dharma. By that way, it will be protected on the level of nation. And when the conflict goes on international level, when the people, so-called intellectuals and scholars, so-called with love and passion, when they try to organize programs like dismantling global Hindutva, and when the hurdles they are raised from outside our country, at that time, our rulers and scholars from within our country jointly, when they overcome that intellectual hurdles and intellectual penetration or war of anti-Hindu or Hindu-phobic people. So at that time, we can protect our dharma and abide our life by dharma. So what you have says, it's okay. They are the details of that act, but basically, like sugar and sweetness and salt and saltness, they are inseparable. Hindu and Hindutva is inseparable because Hindutva means the principles and philosophy of Hindu Dharma when you try to abide in your life. this means you are practicing Hindu.
So, according to you, Hindutva is basically a principle or what? Or a practice? What is, in simple terms, how can a layman understand Hindutva? Because there is still a
Hindutva
kind
is
of fog around this
practice.
word.
Hindutva is practicing of Hindu Dharma philosophy guidance in day to day of individual's life. Like
So, it's
a
a.
Christian person, he want to practice Christianity. Like a Muslim person, he want to practice Islam.
Hmm,
In that meaning, Hindu, he want to practice Hindu Dharma. It is called Hindutva.
I see. So, so basically, Hindutva is a, a practice
Practice.
of Hindu
Prac-
principles
Hindu
and
principles. Yeah,
Hindu
sure.
based on Hindu Dharma or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, now before we get into the Hindu Rashtra topic, which seems to be quite, detailed and conflicting to
Yeah,
many, I
yeah,
would
yeah,
like to call a special guest from Pakistan. His name is
yeah.
Mr. Kamleshwar Lohana. Pradeep, can you invite Mr. Lohana on the screen? Cannot see.
Might be camera is not on.
There.
Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Kamlesh
Namaskar.
ji, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
We
Hari Om.
can't see you very clearly.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the
Yeah.
all that.
I would like to introduce you to
Yeah,
our viewers. Dr. Kamlesh Lohana is from Jamshoro, Pakistan. He's an associate professor at Mehran University of Science and Technology at postgraduate and PhD levels. And he has several academic publications under his portfolio on regards to gender, governance, climate change, neoliberalization, liberalism, and public policy. So that's a very heavy, what you call title you have, credentials
Hmm.
you have.
yeah, it's just
That we are
my
all,
job.
small.
Living in a
Hari Om
Namaste.
Kamleshwarji.
Hari Om.
Hmm.
Hari Om. It's really
So, Kamleshwarji,
it's
would you
lovely.
like to ask few questions to our guest of
Yeah,
honor?
yeah. Uh, Thank you for the honor and giving me opportunity, Dada Dayal Sahab. And it's really lovely to talk to Dr. Pingle. I was just wondering, uh, having Western education, living in global South, you come across very different, you know, cultural changes. So my question is, how have Western influenced, impacted the traditions of sanskars, Hindu sanskars, on our culture? So this is my simple question from that's yes.
Surely, I think it's a very nice question in that sense because until British were ruling in Bharat, they were not able to force their culture on India because uh, Bharati people they were trying to counter the British thought process and their culture.
Yeah,
But the main culprit thing was that when we have got freedom and we think that we have got our ruler in our country and they will make our Bharat a big glorifying country in the world. We were a bit on back foot at that time and we have trusted on our ruler.
yep,
But the ruler, post freedom ruler, they were the medium of imposing Western culture on Indian diaspora through education,
Yeah.
through their media, and even after that, when Doordarshan come and now this mobile revolution has started, so it was like a brainwash of whole of the nation by these people because they have accepted the foreign language. So all judiciary and bureaucratic process they go through the English language.
Yeah.
And tie and coat culture they have imposed and they have made respectable them so that every person was thinking that I should be a English speaking and with coat and tie. And slowly this Bollywood cinema
Yeah.
they have imposed that Western and Arabic culture. And lastly, but not least important, is the provision of religious education in government aided school. Hindu, though majority population, and in democratic process we have right that we should enjoy every facility of government, but Hindus being majority were denied from religious or spiritual education by state, and on the other hand they have make free hand to minorities to get their religious education. So lack of religious education, lack of other insecurities, glorifying coat and tie culture, glorifying English language, it's a big brainwash of majority Hindu people, which help to impose a Western culture on Indians. But thanks to Almighty God that He is helping to revive this situation. Now the young generation is aware of all these conspiracies. They are aware of all the things happened with them, and now they are trying to reverse the wheel of those Western cultures imposition, and they are trying to abide Hindu Dharma in their day-to-day life.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the elaboration, and I believe that all these things are contributing. And my second question is related with the my first question, that how these sanskars, what you are indicating, influence the social, economic, and political aspects of global South society. So, what do you comment on that?
Yeah, as you have been imposed with Western culture,
Yeah,
chocolate culture, day culture, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine Day. So totally, you are going away from your indigenous sanskar. You are losing your identity. The main problem is losing your identity. You are not कहावत है ना घर का ना घाट का, because they will not expect, because it's whitesman burden, they won't accept black people as their community, and you have lose your basic sanskar. So ना घर का ना घाट का ऐसी स्थिति हो रही, first thing. Secondly, when they have imposed their culture, day, Sanskriti, and all these, now it's a marketing policy. They will come with some chocolate, they will come with some drink, they will come with some costumes, clothing.
yeah,
They will make your
yeah,
lady
yeah,
as a Miss World, and they will try to encash their economic and political ambitions through that. So, economic slavery is the first drawback of this imposition of Western cultures which India is suffering. Secondly, with this IT sector revolution and these multinational companies with big economic power, now they are trying to control your society. And the
yeah,
newest advancement with artificial intelligence, you are using mobile, and 80% of population of globe is using mobile. Now
yeah,
your thought process is controlled by artificial intelligence. The people sitting in one room, they are analyzing your thought process and they are imposing their commercial views on you. They are showing what they want to show. They are avoiding what you want to see. And a big, uh, I think, e-slavery type of situation is creating there. But one
Yeah.
good thing is that our government is also countering for this e-slavery, economic slavery. Sorry. And now the young generation and citizens, they are aware of these conspiracies and atrocities, and we will surely try to overcome these things in short period.
Yeah, yeah. If I just add one thing, and we may conclude our questions in that way. Uh, this is my personal experience moving around world and meeting people, especially of our community. I just feel that our people who are living in United States or Thailand or Hong Kong or in any many parts of world, they are a bit shy. They are not so open, or maybe they are not clear about religion. They are not having clear concepts, and they shy. Sometimes they hide their names. They feel that
Yeah, yeah,
their business
yeah,
won't flourish much if they call themselves as a Bob instead of typical Hindu name. They
yeah, yeah.
wanted to be named as a Christian sometimes, or some a neutral name. Maybe Anita is a nice name to have.
Hmm.
It won't tell you that you are a Hindu or a Christian or a Russian. So means
Yeah,
uh, that notion sometimes is very harmful with regards to our identity. What do you
yeah,
comment on that? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a very important thing happening all over the globe. If you are with your Hindu identity, they will try to demoralize you.
Yep.
They will try to say that you are from backward country, you are from backward religion. They try to show their superiority. This is
Yep.
intellectual radicalness.
Yep.
And if you're having a Indic name and it's not according to their missionary concepts, their missionary ideology, and they will try to block you economically also.
I'm sorry. I'm low.
And to have your business and monetary gain, the person not been shy but afraid of his economic losses, and he try to hide himself and try to do his business. This is a big setback. But now I think world is changing a bit, because when I come in contact with some African peoples where who were traveled from India 150 years back as a colony slaves to African countries. Now they say that we are getting a respectable name because of uh, major role played by Bharat in international diaspora. So
Yep.
now it's time to show your intellectual supremacy, to show your wide heartedness, your inclusiveness, and uh, they will have to come to us to stabilize their mind, to stabilize, to have some bliss, to lift above their notions and emotions. So it's a big, I think, attack on Hindus in the rest of the world. But it's time to counter that. We have to
Yeah.
educate them
Yeah.
with dharma education. We have to stand from our side behind them to have their own identity and their to put their own narratives there. So we have to unite now
Yeah.
globally, and we have to focus and we have to present as a single power now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
very
time to
true,
come.
very true. Uh, in my, humble, opinion, I'm not a religious scholar, or I'm just a reader. What I just feel that sometimes uh, the diversity of Hinduism become, negative side of diversity is we are so open that sometimes we don't have some common beliefs on some basic principles. Broadly speaking, if you just see, so there is a need of seven or eight or five or three basic sanskars, or means sometimes I feel
yeah,
that in different you know believe believers of Hinduism have
yeah,
different
yeah, yeah,
sanskar if they are living in different geographical locations, though the origin
yeah,
is global south. But when they living in Argentina or in South or North America, they might have some different
yeah,
scars, or they sometimes skip few things due to some limitations. So that might be the reason we don't have consistency in
yeah, yeah,
in practices. So the Hinduita and what we've been discussing earlier, uh, that overshadows sometimes. So please comment if possible.
yeah, yeah. You have given very good suggestion and you have pointed one very good problem. What is problem here? Uh, Without getting the basic knowledge of Hindu Dharma, the young generation connect with their Guru Parampara, with their mother and father, or as per their liking.
Yeah,
So what happened? A student directly get admission in science faculty or art faculty or commerce faculty without going through primary and secondary education.
yeah,
So what is need to be compulsory that you should know the basic principles of Hinduism. What are
yeah,
four ashramas? What are four depths for you? What is
yeah,
Punarjanma rebirth? What is Karma Phala Siddhant?
yeah,
What are 16 sanskaras? And so and so. So these are the basic ground of all Hindu sects. They should know. But what
yeah.
had happened in last few decades, even this is lacuna of some sampradayas also. Rather than teaching the fundamentals of dharma, they directly start teaching the sampradayic sadhana, and that's why the difference go. If you are academician, you know after 10th the faculty changes. Up till 10th everybody has common curriculum.
Yep,
After 12th, science, arts, and some faculty change. And thereafter, for degree, you have to select one subject of science. And for post-graduate and PhD, you have to take only one topic of that science.
that's true.
So that tree of education has to implicated in religious education also. So what are the basics should be teach to everybody, and with advancement and liking, they should be there should be branching so that they all connected with some common ground. But
Yeah,
you are a teacher of science also. Suppose a
yeah,
teacher of physics is there and he has 110, 11, 12 elements in front of him.
yeah,
A layman can say there are hundreds of elements in the dish, but he says no, no, no. It's multiple combination of electron, proton, and neutrons only.
yeah,
So unless you won't make your follower to go in deep in that dharma education and to understand their common roots,
yeah,
superficially you say everything as a separate.
yeah,
So even if you try to imply the principle of science also, at least you know electron, proton, neutron, then you can analyze all elements. There are multiple combination of this proton, neutron, electron, or combination of two atoms. So there is need of change of dharma education system. There is need of first getting dharma education and a common dharma education for all Hindus all over the world. So your
yeah.
suggestion is very good. You have pointed out a right problem of Hinduism. I'm very grateful to you.
Yeah, another thing, if Dada Dayal Saab allows me, this is the last comment, and
No, go
I'm just
ahead.
opening all these all
Okay,
these
go
things.
ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, because society is changing, and so as our people, their mind, and uh, it's very difficult sometimes that how one generation is leaving message to other generation. Means depends. What I know, I'm going to uh, transmit or pass down from my generation to the coming up generation, that these are the sanskars. So which is unfortunately in countries which don't have formal Hindu education, or we don't have curriculum. So it's difficult to maintain all those sanskars. And obviously,
Yeah.
then you become neutral person, or a person having no religion. Yes, in
Yeah.
passport
Yeah.
have religion, but in-depth knowledge or the
Not
sanskar,
practicing.
yes, it is just limited to naming a person as a Hindu and cremation. That's it. There are so many
Yeah.
things in between which are not being observed because of so many reasons. So
Yeah.
I think there is a need to identify some simple and acceptable to all, some sanskars
Yeah.
which just
Yeah. Yeah.
keep this whole identity alive. So this is just
Sure.
my observation and need your recommendation on that.
Surely, basically, if you speak about India in metropolitan or big cities, now the couple both are employed. The baby is in a baby cradle. The dai from that lady, she is giving sanskar. Your family is not giving sanskar. At home, mobile and TV, they are going to give you sanskar, and family they don't have time to give sanskar. So it's a
True.
big problem raising here also. And
Yep.
that's why we are demanding Hindu Rashtra, because once the dharma is protected by constitution in Bharat, and we can establish religious education through curriculum, and all Hindus they will be educated with dharma education. So a common curriculum for all Hindus can be drafted and implemented in India also. Secondly, on the same basis, dharma education from a distance education, we can start it for people from outside India also. And the main thing is that Janma Hindu has no value according to Hindu Dharma, because you are identified Hindu as only by sanskaras and your achar and achar dharma. So
Right.
Janma Hindu has to convert Karma Hindu by practicing the principles and guidance of Hindu Dharma in your day to day life, whichever possible. So there should be a common minimum sanskaras which should be practiced universally, and that can be drafted by our Shankaracharyas, Acharyas, or some group which can guide whole of the Hindus from globe. So something is going on, and some curriculum is supposed to be
Draft it on that. Yeah.
drafted. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Very good suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can
Thank you. Thank you.
can I intervene?
Yeah.
Kamleshwarji, in
Yes.
response to your query, and with permission of Guruji,
Yeah.
in
Sure.
our court of law, we swear by the Bhagavad Gita. Yes or no?
Yep.
All
Yep.
over the world, right? Every Hindu
Yep.
swears by the Gita. So
Yep.
my suggestion would be to all Hindus watching that they should first learn what is the Gita consists of before swearing on it. So if you are swearing on it blindly, then we are not practicing, we are not become karma Hindu. So the first and foremost idea or mandate would be for every Hindu to study,
Yes, sure.
emulate the teachings of the Gita. And everything is there. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga,
Yeah,
and Raja Yoga is all incorporated in that. So it's a
sure.
one stroke. If you read that, you automatically become a Karma Hindu immediately by its practice.
True.
Yeah.
True. Thank
Very,
you,
very
Dada.
good. Very nice suggestion.
That should be the
Very nice.
only good start for all the Hindus.
Yeah.
So it is very nice of you to come. Be on the screen. I want
Yep.
to. We are going to discuss now about Hindu Rashtra. So Guruji, we'll
Yeah.
end the show with the final questions.
Yeah.
What is your concept of Hindu Rashtra? What do you mean by it? Because we are already a Hindu Rashtra in a psychological sense and population number sense. So, what is your uh, I see that many people in North India are also asking for Hindu Rashtra, which means changing the constitution. So, how do you see this concept of Hindu Rashtra and related with the constitution?
Surely, uh, if by only term Hindu Rashtra is there, so every Hindu by birth is a Hindu.
Hmm.
But just we have discussed, unless you don't abide the teachings of Hindu Dharma into your day-to-day life, you can't be a karma Hindu, and so only for cremation you are a Hindu otherwise. Now, principally, we say psychologically it's a Hindu Rashtra. But what is the problem in this Hindu Rashtra? Being majority of the population is Hindu, and in democracy, it is supposed that majority is the law, and you have to think of majority and you have to govern and go according to majority. But the discrimination with Hindu is happening. First discrimination is what concession given to the minorities in name of minorities being secular country. As a secular country, you can't have any concession to any religion. If it
Correct.
is Hindu Rashtra, then you can have concession to minorities. You can have minority ministry and minority affairs commission, so and so. But when you are a secular state, you have to see equally to all. So, what concession given to minorities, that concessions are not given to Hindus. That is the first biggest discriminatory point, that you are not allowed religious education in your curriculum in government aided schools. So, this is discrimination. The nation is Hindu. In democratic setup, we are majority voters Hindu, but we are only unable to have religious education, and rest of the minorities in name of minority they are getting this concession. So this is inequality and discrimination with us. Now second question, takeover of temple of Hindus, that too for not only money from Hindus government uses, they interfere and change the religious procedures of the temple. Now the discrimination is that they take over only Hindu temples, but they have never take over any minority, either church or anything. So this is again a biggest discrimination happening with us. In name of minority, a large amount of economy yearly has been contributed to the children's of minority population, and they are not awarded to majority population. हम दो हमारे दो, the family planning trend which was forced to Hindus, and now they are restricted with one child, but they have allowed minority to have as much as children. This is also discrimination. When it was a good move when Hindu code bill was introduced in parliament, and when they say that marrying with two women is injustice with a woman, and they have made the law that you can marry only one woman, it's good thing, we welcome that. But on the other hand, they have allowed minority to have multiple marriage at the same time. So they don't see the injustice with those women with minority people. So this is also again discrimination. So principally, it may be a Hindu Rashtra, but Hindus are the secondary citizens. They are not enjoying the privilege of the enjoying the concession which are given to minority, and they are the biggest sufferer. So, only for saying Hindu nation it's okay, but unless it won't practice through constitution doesn't endorse it, it has no value. Suppose I print currency note and I don't have authentic signature and authentic mark given by government of India. I say it's like a currency of nation, so it has no value. Like that, unless the constitution and parliament officially accept it as a Hindu nation, unless they won't protect the principles, cultures, traditions, values, ethics, and history of Sanatan Dharma, yeah, Hindu Dharma. So it's like only Janma Hindu. It's a for sake only. It's a Hindu nation. There is nothing you can experience like a Hindu nation here. So this is the basic thing why we need Hindu Rashtra, and for that we are struggling that off. Because if you go internationally and if you see the trend of international level, the people where Islamic origin people they are in majority, they declare themselves as Islamic country. Even in Europe and America, few countries they have declared themselves as a secular. Rest every Christian country they protect any sect. There are Buddhist countries. There is one Jew country also with 86 lakhs population. So third largest population of world, they don't have any nation which they call as our Hindu nation. So this is also, if you compare with international politics, you are on back foot. And the basic thing in 1947, when the division occurs in Bharat, it was on the religious ground, and they say that we can't live with Hindu people and we want our separate. And the country separated from Bharat was Islamic nation of Pakistan. The country separated from Pakistan few years after they declared as the Islamic state of Bangladesh. When all countries they are declaring themselves as a Islamic country or Christian countries, and nobody is saying them as a radical, nobody is saying them as a communal. Then when we are demanding Bharat and Nepal as a Hindu Rashtra, they suddenly put up their cuff and say that how you are radical, how this is you are asking. The 27 OPEC countries, those who are Islamic countries, they are asking secular India, what are you doing for Muslim minorities in your country? But I think reciprocally, India has to ask those countries in your Islamic country what privilege you are giving to our Hindu population. So these are the many both side good and bads of things which are not in favor of Hindu nation. They are just opposite experience regarding the Hindu nation. That's why it's our fundamental right. If British, being democratic, being secular, they have not have any written constitution, in which conspiracy they have forced India to write their constitution. This is the first question. Secondly, they have official Church of England. So government has Church of England, a secular state. They can establish church and protect Christianity. How it can happen? You know, 22 bishops, unelected bishop, they sit in House of Lords and they draft the religious law and they have to accept those religious law only. So non-elected bishop rule the religious part of England, and this is India. You don't have any right to talk about religion, and you have to be atheist or you have to be neutral. So, what is the conspiracy? Why they are forcing India to be a secular and they don't want this interference? We have to done some research, scholarly research in this point also. And when we see the secular country, they are protecting Christianity, Muslim majority, they are saying we are Islamic state. So being Hindu majority, we demand it as a Hindu nation. So I think no one should have any objection for that. It's a national right of our population. Being democratic country as majority population, they are voting for Hindu nation. So through democratic process, through constitutional process, you can declare Bharat as a Hindu nation because this process has been given in our constitution. If you have got majority and if you have capacity to amend it, you can declare Bharat as a Hindu nation.
So, can we recap and summarize what you have just said in the following terms? One is that your expectation or aspiration of demanding or expecting a Hindu Rashtra to be formed is first the right to practice spiritual values and dharma. That is our
Surely.
first. We want freedom and non interference from any agencies so that we can continue our spiritual goals peacefully.
Sure.
Number two, to alleviation of all discrimination against Hindus at the present moment.
Certainly.
All types of discrimination, whatever is available, which would mean that we should be implementing universal civil code, uniform civil code, because the word. And then what I feel that there is a misinterpretation of the word secular. Secular is a very highly controversial and misunderstood word.
Yeah.
Secular does not mean that you cite one religion and discriminate other religion. Secular means that you allow all religions to flourish on their own at their own level. So religion is like having an affair with God. But when you can apply your religious principle within your community, but when you come out to interact with people, you should imbibe and implement the universal code of law based on basic ethics of harmony. So this is what we are trying, and this can be only done according to you if a Hindu Rashtra is formed. Otherwise,
constitutionally,
there will be a lot of anomalies and atrocities happening in the name of secularism. So you don't want the word basically secular, which is causing all the conflict.
And secular term is not defined at all by Bharatiya Parliament. That is the biggest lacuna of this.
So it's high time they listen to this and understand the word secular and try to see, because the way I see it, our Hindu philosophy is the most tolerant religion so far according to historical records. We have tolerated all communities to come to India without any problem.
We are not tolerated, we have respected them.
We are secular in our essence by itself. So other communities should not have any problem accepting Hindustan or Bharat as a Hindu Rashtra constitutionally. Okay, so that's good. Now, Dr. Ji, Kamleshwar, you have any question to ask? Last question before we end the show. Cannot hear.
Unmute yourself.
We cannot hear.
It's not unmuted.
Can you unmute?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about it. I'm really thankful to Guruji and Dada Dayal, and I think this initiative of organizing such interesting webinars are a wonderful learning for the global Hindu community. I really appreciate this effort and taking time out, and it's really nice experience of listening and learning from you, learned people. Thank you.
It was very nice meeting with everybody.
How are things in Pakistan? And how many Hindus are there in Pakistan, according to you and your study?
Well, we are just 2%, less than 2% population. And yes, we are scattered all around the 4 provinces. The concentration is in Sindh. And yes, we have certain issues, and we are blessed too. We are safe somehow, and with some limitations, we are progressing. Recently, we have a good ministry of minorities. They are also helping us in different organizing our community centers, and we don't have cremation facility properly. Now yesterday there was an inauguration, so that was a good initiative. Two big community centers are, started recently in Hyderabad alone. So means things are progressing. Yes, there are issues, but the issues I just see very objectively. The issues are with majority too. So yes, you hear so many bad news, but sometimes the media just brings those things so project very different picture. I believe this is not true. In a way, if you just see in big picture, the majority have this very serious problems too. So things are, progressing. Uh, but at the moment we are in a different scenario, so hope we'll be out of it.
I
Yeah.
want to ask you one last question.
Yes,
Do
please.
you think that the younger generation in Pakistan and the younger generation in India will be able to understand all these aspects of discrimination that are happening everywhere, and they'll be able to alleviate the situation by their uh, universal concept or
Well,
understanding of ethics?
well, I don't give you a 100% answer. Well, it differs. Now the education, if you just call the education of ethics or the values, that totally depends on the families. How the families are and the communities are helping each other to understand the basic values of our religion, as far as religion is concerned. Uh, it is a bit challenging. It is difficult, and due to lack of this communications, lack of you know transfer of knowledge from one generation to other, it is a bit difficult. I don't see much future of it. Very honestly speaking, there are small contributions which I don't think are significantly bring any change in the lives of the minorities, because it's a very different social setup. Yes, people are observing our rituals, but in-depth knowledge, there is a lack of in-depth knowledge. People don't read the books. As you mentioned, Bhagavad Gita is the answer. This is uh, the situation. Means it is still in the red cloth, and and we don't open it much. There are so many panth and gurus, and we go there, and people just nod head without using their critical thinking, without understanding the philosophy of the whole concept of Hinduism. This is my personal opinion. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on our show, and we hope that we'll have a chance to communicate further on this level.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
our show is all about empowerment, enlightenment, and emancipation. So we
Yeah.
are inviting all noble souls and professionals to come on our show and share
Yeah.
their beliefs,
Yeah.
convictions, and concepts so that our viewers gain by listening to such noble and academic thinking. So on
Yeah.
this note, I would like to thank our Dr. Charudatta Pingale. Sadhguru, thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
very
coming.
much. Thank you very much.
It was really an honor
And
for us,
I,
Thank you.
and I hope that all the viewers have taken something home and which they can imbibe in their day-to-day life. And as far as my suggestion goes, to incorporate Bhagavad Gita as a central theme in their life, in which all the issues of Hindutva and Hinduism will fall into place by itself.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
very
to
much.
So I
everybody.
would
Thank you.
like to end the show with a simple prayer. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Amritam
Jo,
Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And Jai Julilal to all. Doctor, once
Jai
again, thank
Jai.
you for coming. Kamleshwar
Thank you.
Loana, good luck to you,
Hmm.
and hope you
Thank
have
you.
a pleasant stay in uh, Jamshro. And see you soon.
Thank you very much.
See you.
God bless.
Good night.
Good night.